Welcome back to Xbox Corner, my name's Luke, and this week on Game Pass we've got another 5 titles to cover, 4 of which just hit Game Pass and are available to play right now, with the 5th arriving at the start of next week. Now if you missed our coverage on any of the previous Game Pass releases this month, then you'll find them linked down below, and last week's video also covers off the titles leaving Game Pass this month, so be sure to check out those before they disappear on the 30th of September. With that said though, make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest reviews, deals and Game Pass coverage, and let's get started. So our first new addition this week is the narrative-driven adventure title Lost Words Beyond the Page, and I'm actually in the process of working my way through this one right now on the Nintendo Switch. Written by Rhianna Pratchett, daughter of the late great Terry Pratchett, the game's story centres around a young girl called Izzy, who after losing someone dear to her decides to work through her grief by writing a fantasy story, and the game's narrative jumps between Izzy's diary entries which reveal a little about her personal life, and the story that she's writing where the thoughts and feelings that she's struggling with internally come to life. Now the gameplay in Lost Words offers a unique blend of 2D platforming and puzzle solving, with the diary entry sections having Izzy run and jump across the letters, while the fantasy sections see you using different words to alter the environment and guide the story's protagonist through the beautifully atmospheric fantasy world of Estoria. Now to give an example, you could put a broken statue back together using the word repair, or extinguish candles using the word blow, and this kind of gameplay in itself is incredibly innovative, but the really cool thing about this one is that the words that you decide to use guide the narrative in different ways, and this makes for plenty of replayability with the game. If you're looking for an emotionally charged adventure game which you won't be forgetting in a hurry, then I highly recommend checking this one out. Our second game today is a Day 1 Game Pass release called Sable, an open world exploration game with some wonderfully stylised visuals, and Alex had the pleasure of reviewing this one recently, so I'll leave a link to that review in the description box below. Now this one sees you taking on the role of a young girl called Sable, who after departing her hometown and leaving her family and friends behind, embarks on a kind of rite of passage known as the gliding, which will determine her role in life. Unlike other games where the story directs the gameplay though, Sable purposefully leaves you to your own devices, and it really doesn't hold your hand in this regard. It gives you a hover bike for covering longer distances, a glide ability for crossing gaps, and you're able to climb and scale almost any vertical surface, and this grants you the freedom to fully explore the world and find your own path through the game. Now the game's core concept sees you searching the world for badges, which can usually be acquired by completing tasks for people. Collecting 3 of the same badge and returning them back to a mask maker will determine your fate and role in life ending the game, but with repeat playthroughs you'll discover new locations, new badges, and thus new endings to the game. Exploration is really at the heart of this one though, which is substantiated by the fact that there's absolutely no combat in the game, and so I don't think Sable is going to be a game for those who prefer more action oriented titles. Now unfortunately as it currently stands, Sable suffers from some noticeable frame rate issues even on the Series X, but hopefully we'll see a patch for this which will fix it soon. And if you're a lover of games like Journey or Abzu which look to offer a more serene gameplay experience focused on exploration and discovery, then you'll no doubt find a lot to like in Sable. So our next title is Subnautica Below Zero, an open world survival game which sees you descending into the freezing depths of an ocean on an alien planet. A direct sequel to 2018's Subnautica, Below Zero's story takes place 2 years after the events of the original game, and it sees you returning to planet 4546b, but this time you'll be exploring its Arctic region as a scientist called Robin who has managed to smuggle her way down to the surface in order to find out the truth about her sister's death. Now as with other survival titles, gameplay has you exploring the planet, collecting resources and blueprints to craft new items and equipment to help you on your way, and tending to your health, hunger and thirst meters in order to stay alive. Like its predecessor, much of the game takes place underwater, but now there are also significant land-based areas to explore, and a new addition to Below Zero is the temperature gauge, whereby the harsh surface conditions require you to take shelter in caves and buildings or craft survival gear in order to maintain your body's temperature. Now if all of this sounds a little too hardcore for you though, you needn't worry, as the game offers a range of difficulties to cater for players of all skill levels, and these include the standard survival mode and hardcore survival where you only get a single life, as well as freedom mode which disables the hunger and thirst meters, or creative mode which removes survival mechanics entirely and grants you all blueprints and unlimited resources. In all, the game has plenty to offer, especially if you're into your survival games, and the alien world now looks better than ever thanks to the Series X and S optimization. Our fourth title in today's roundup is a PC only release called Tainted Grail Conquest, and it offers a story driven hybrid gameplay experience which is part roguelike deck builder, part RPG. Each run in Tainted Grail will see you trying to save lost survivors on the cursed island of Avalon while gathering resources to develop the village, which kind of acts as the game's hub. But you'll also discover more of the story each time you play, and from what I've read there's a decent amount of story to uncover with this one. Now the game features a total of 9 different character classes, each with their own skill sets offering a wide variety of playstyles, and if you've played other deck builders you'll no doubt be familiar with the turn-based combat system which sees you expending energy to play cards from your deck. There appears to be plenty of depth to this one though, with each run earning you new cards to add to your deck, granting you new passive and active abilities and runes which add an additional layer of depth to character progression. However, each time you beat the game and then head out to challenge it again on higher difficulties, the enemies not only become more powerful, but they also gain new abilities, and all of these different mechanics add up to offer a huge amount of replayability. Now I'm a big fan of both deck builders and roguelikes, and it's a shame that this one is only releasing on PC, but if we ever see a console port, I'll undoubtedly be giving it a go. So rounding off this week's list of awesome Game Pass titles we have Lemnis Gate, and I have to be honest, I'm incredibly intrigued by the premise of this one and I can't wait to give it a go. Now the game is advertised as a turn-based strategy first-person shooter in which battles take place within a 25-second time loop, and the general concept of the game goes something like this. First, you pick one of 7 unique operatives, each with their own weaponry and special abilities, and you're then given 25 seconds inside the time loop in which to act and attempt to accomplish the objective. Once your 25 seconds are up, it's then the opponent's turn to act while you watch from the sidelines, and this process repeats itself over 5 rounds, with each loop stacking on top of the previous one. Now each time you enter the time loop you'll see the previous iterations of yourself and your enemy performing their actions, and it's up to you how you intervene. You may for example choose to kill an enemy who killed you, which brings the dead you back to life, and then the alive you who was originally dead gets to perform their actions. Now, to be quite honest, I'm really struggling to explain this one right now, and it's making my brain hurt just thinking and trying to work out how to put it into words. Just know that the game features 1v1 and 2v2 modes, as well as a pass the controller mode allowing you to play the game locally, and there are 4 different game modes including Seek and Destroy, Domination and Deathmatch. I'm definitely going to be diving into Lemnis Gate when it releases next week on the 28th of September, and maybe I'll even coax Alex into a little bit of a live stream for this one. And so that just about does it for this week's roundup of Game Pass releases, but please do let me know in the comments section below if you're going to be checking out any of the featured games, and don't forget to check out Alex's review of Sable, which you'll find linked in the description box below. As always, I want to thank you all once again for watching. Make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest deals, reviews and Game Pass videos, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks everyone, take care.